Buenos dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it like a smack addict. And as you can tell by today's thumbnail, yes, indeed, we're going to talk about the Preston Castle. But we're not going to just talk about the significance of the Preston Castle, but we're going to talk about Preston. And in that fashion, we're going to talk about some ghost sightings in Preston, because I myself seen something when I was there. You know, I've told stories in the past about Fred C. Nellis and about things that I seen at Fred C. Nellis, you know. But Preston was just a little bit different, a little bit more gritty, right? But in order to tell you about the ghosts that I personally seen with my own fucking two eyes, right? I got to give you some background. So here's a little background, right? Into one Anna Corbin and what happened to her at the California Youth Authority Preston in Ione, right? In that castle. And then I'll get into my little story. The day of the murder. It was Thursday, February 23rd, 1950. Many say that just before a staff meeting held by the superintendent, Robert V. Chandler, a ward discovered the body and notified the staff of the grisly finding. According to the Amador Ledger, dated February 24, 1950, it stated that a fellow staff member, Lillian McDowell, was the one who found Anna. Many online sites that speak of Anna Corbin's death start to contradict themselves about this point. Some say she was killed in the kitchen. Some say she was killed in the room in the basement, known as the mattress room. Some say she was stuffed in a cupboard, while some say she was left on the floor. According to the Amador Ledger's article 2/24/1950, it states that Anna was found several hours after her death in a storeroom wrapped in a rug, and she had been beaten severely on the head and body with a rope wrapped around her neck. And people always leave out the stories that in fact in that room Anna was found, it was locked, and the staff member had to knock the door or to unlock the door to access the room, which Anna's body was found in. It was also mentioned in the paper that the director of the California Youth Authority program, Carl Holton, stated that not only the inmates would be investigated, but also the staff. Another newspaper article that confirms this, Oakland Tribune, dated February 24, 1950, also states housekeeper Lillian Lee McDowell and her helper inmate Robert Hall both noticed a trail of blood from Anna's office leading into the school storeroom and into a padlocked closet where Lillian unlocked it to discover Anna's bludgeoned body. The head gardener at Preston, Jeff Machado, seemed to be the last person to see her alive, as he claimed to have brought her to the some acacia blossoms around 9:30 a.m. Anna's body was discovered around 1:30 to 2 p.m. Another housekeeper, Elizabeth Goodman, stated that around 10:23 a.m. she came into Anna's office and left an apple on her desk. The apple was still there upon the discovery of Anna's body. According to Lillian McDowell, after seeing the blood trail leading to the storeroom from the supply room, she and her helper Robert Hall noticed that a ladder was overturned, mop buckets were tossed around, and rugs covered in blood, along with a pool of blood on the floor. The coroner stated that she had been dead for at least 3 to 4 hours when her body was discovered. That meant she died between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. that morning. Another thing I want to point out is that according to other archives, the boy who found Anna's body, Robert Hall, gave a statement that Anna was actually found behind rolls of carpet in a storage room, not a closet, but a padlocked room that was 16 by 35 feet, the size of a basement. A source of mine revealed to me that another ward that was at Preston during that time that Anna was murdered came to Preston as an adult and spoke about his memory of the event, saying that he actually saw Anna's body in the basement, in the larger room, when investigators had just got to the scene, which corroborates with Hall's statement. Another employee of Preston who had been interviewed also made a statement that Anna was found in a larger room and not a closet. No matter where people want to claim she was found, an exact location is left for us only to speculate. One thing is for sure. We know that Anna was found in a basement covered by a carpet. Sounds to me like a whole bunch of motherfuckers trying to cover something up, and in that fashion. Bang, bang. I'm telling you, man, they're quick to blame the wards and always quick to blame the inmates, you know what I mean? These dirty motherfuckers. Anyways, let's get to it one time for their mind. Menudo. Suspects. Initially, the superintendent, along with the sheriff George Lucott and other investigators, singled out the 22 wards on housekeeping detail. Imagine that shit, right? Before questioning other wards there who would have been convicted of assault and sexual crimes. After those groups were questioned, they detailed all wards to their rooms to further question and investigate each one. Superintendent Chandler made it very clear that everyone was a suspect. What about that, baboso? Even staff that they would be investigating thoroughly. Out of the 657 wards questioned, only one was charged, Eugene Monroe. He was a 19-year-old African-American inmate who was from Southern California. Imagine that. Come on now, bro. So let's follow the drip, huh? Anyways, what many don't realize is that Monroe was the chief suspect in a murder of a 17-year-old girl, Vesta Bell Sapender, in Southern California in 1947. The details of Vesta's murder were easily similar to the details of Anna's murder, as noted in my book, Behind the Walls. But as I state in the book, due to lack of sufficient evidence, the authorities couldn't hold him on murder charges. How Monroe ended up in Preston was for a separate conviction of burglary charges. One inmate, William J. Mercer, who basically ruined his own reputation on the witness stand in the preliminary hearing, claimed that he and Eugene were having a secretive relationship, and that during a time when they were engaging in some weird shit, basically, that Anna had walked in and witnessed them. He claimed that it infuriated Eugene and said he was going to kill her for that. Just because your people are small. And that was it. He was mad. Monroe's attorney tried to throw out any testimony of Mercer's at the time due to the fact Mercer recanted his statement, and then during the trial he claimed that the entire story was in fact true. But Monroe's attorney Nathaniel S. Conley had threatened his life when he visited him at the Amador County Jail and told him that if he didn't take back his story that he would make sure Monroe's friends took care of him after he was released. Despite his fear of retaliation, Mercer testified at the trial and aired out the whole story, basically ratted, stating that his initial statements were true, including his claims that the defense tried to intimidate and threaten the prosecution's main witness. Okay. So basically, they were blaming all the inmates. They were trying to point the finger at this one inmate. And irregardless of that, no one has ever really been convicted of this, right? No one was ever, how can I say, basically convicted. It was never found to be true. I myself have my own theories about it, and we used to talk about it when we were in Preston, because I heard this story, and the story always went, hey man, that Heine was killed by a staff member, maybe that gardener, maybe even the warden, Carl Holton himself. And a lot of people used to say Carl Holton was a dirty motherfucker. Now you got to understand that Carl Holton actually had an institution named after him, which I did time in, Holtin. So there was always rumors and speculation and things circulating about Carl Holton and about Anna Corbin's death. And anyone that did time at Preston back in the days, they heard about it. And if they didn't hear about it, Sasuke, they were too busy probably getting beat up. But when we had downtime, in between fucking smashing motherfuckers, we would sit back and, tell ghost stories. Being youngsters on the compas, we didn't really have nothing else to do but chop it up. So Anna Corbin, one time, there was a big thing that used to go on, man. We used to play people out of pocket. We used to tell them, hey, go up to, when they'd get to Cedar, which was the reception, we tell them, hey, go up to the block and tell them that you want to sign up for castle cleanup. Now, of course, there was no fucking such thing as castle cleanup, right? This was just our way to manipulate the guys to see where their heads was at, see if they were fucking some righteous dudes that'd be like, nah, homie, go ahead and move with that shit. You know what I mean? And sauce, and in that fashion. Or some babosas will fall for it and they'd be up there, ding dong, the witch is there. And they go up there and they'd be like, hey, can I sign up for castle cleanup? And the cops would be like, no, but you can sign up for fucking cleaning up the latrine. Go clean that motherfucker one time for your mind. You know what I mean? There was even an instance, man, where one guy went up there and he was like, can I sign up for castle cleanup? And he says, yeah, wait up. Let me give you your tools. And he handed him a plunger and a back brace. He says, handle it right there. Clean up. Hey, I'm the king of this castle. Go clean that shit up. But anyways, one day, there was a group of us. There was about 3 Africanos, about 4 homeboys, couple Sureños, and a bulldog. I remember. And they said that we were actually going to go clean the area around the castle. Right? We were going to do some lawn mowing, some weed eating, things of that nature. And I tripped because it was kind of off grounds. I was like, damn, I might have to wiggle right one time for your mind. But of course, they had a couple vans there, a lot of placas, and we wasn't going nowhere, homes, right? And so we started to mow the lawn. And I remember looking up at the tower. And when I looked up at the tower, what I seen to this day, I ain't never seen nothing like it, right? I actually seen a hyena twist her whole body and look out the window. When I say twist her whole body, bro, it's not like fucking, it's like that fucking a spider, like twist, the whole body twisted. These windows, you got to understand, man, they're a dark glass, so it's hard to see them. It's like a Romanian castle, right? But this, for some reason, this day, up in that tower, that fucking glass was crystal clear. What I seen, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Fuck everything, I'm saying, in that fashion. I know what I seen. She looked right at me like she wanted to snatch me up and take me up in the tower, right? Hey, I kind of backed up. I couldn't run. If I run, I'm gonna get shot because they're thinking I'm escaping. If I fucking tell the homeboys, they're gonna think I'm a baboso and they might drop me leva, right? The Sureño was looking at me because I think he's seen the same thing. Of course, he's not gonna say nothing to me, and I ain't gonna say nothing to him because at this time we weren't on talking basis. So I was kind of just within my own thoughts. So I remember not saying too much, man, just going about my business, but tripping. I didn't want to get too close to this building because I was like, fuck this, man. There's some shit in here. And getting back, and there was a homeboy from Alvario that was actually right there in Preston with me that I knew from the calles, so I knew I could chop it up with him. And he wasn't gonna say shit. And if he did say shit, I just slapped the shit at him, right? And that's just real talk. And we got to chopping it up, and I was like, "Hey, bro, I seen some shit up there in the castle." And he said, "Yeah, bro, I mean, it sounds good." I said, "Hold up, bro, don't you know what I mean? Don't come at me sideways like that, motherfucker. I'll give you some V8, one time for your mind." And but real talk, what I seen that day was a trip, and ain't no one could take that from me. In Preston, there's been a lot of stories. I've heard a lot of homeboys tell me stories when I did time in Tamarack, which is the oil there for anyone that's ever been to Preston. Um, Everyone tells the same old ghost stories. And I used to hear some trippy shit. I used to hear some trippy shit sitting back as a youngster. I liked it. It gave us something to pass time. And we kind of popped our collars, man, and just kicked back on the theater and chopped game. Anything beat wolfing and people yelling and screaming and knowing damn well they ain't gonna do shit. Um, but I heard a lot of stories, and what people don't understand is that was a boys' reformatory. That was a boys' basically like one big old institution, one big old group home, right? But it was also like a mental asylum because these kids, man, there were stories of them being abused, by not only wards but also staff. There were several murders that happened in that castle, as well as those grounds. Those grounds were built later on, and of course, things happen, gang related and whatever. Vatos getting booked and hit, and shit happens. That's normal. But as far as what was going on up in that castle is a whole different level. Like I said, everyone likes to speak on Anna Corbin. I believe I seen Anna Corbin or some other chick. You know what I mean? I don't know what it was. She was ta fea, the pinchy chick. But I seen somebody, right? With my own fucking eyes. That's guaranteed. Just like in Nellis when I seen that kid out there with that basketball. I know what I seen. Can't no one take that shit from me. Me and Novato Clumsy from Clanton and shit. We know what we seen. Period. But so Trip, all these stories that I heard, man. I heard another story about there was a guy, I think his last name was Chessman. Marcus Chessman or Martin Chessman. I'm not sure. Anyways, he was a ward that was there at one point in time. And the fucking story was that he murdered another kid there, over I can't call it. He's Sasuke, I want your Pokemon cards. Whatever the fucking case may, he killed him, right, Sasuke? And choked him out. And it's been known, man, that he roams those grounds, right? Not the kid that got killed, but actually Mark Chessman after he died, like he came back for redemption or he came back to say he's sorry. And a lot of people have seen him. Nowadays they have, it's like a museum, so they have where you can actually go back and trip out on it and and go in the building. They like restored it. Shit, I'm good. Fuck that. So I'd rather go in East Los with a red paño and a Huelga bird hat than to go fuck with the Preston Castle. Because regardless of what people may think, everyone's gonna say, bro, I'm scared of no ghosts. Orale. Fucking, hey, all ghosts don't look like Slimer, baboso, right? Regardless of what you may think in your life, there's paranormal out there. There's different things out there, vato. Straight up. And in that fashion. Life ain't all about gang banging and political. And sometimes it's about something a little different, right? And I try to be comedic. I try to put my comedy into everyday life, and live my life carefree and live my life, righteous, but at the same time, make the best of my life I have, But to honestly sit here and tell the gente, the raza or anybody that there ain't something else out there, you got to be a motherfucking stupid individual right off the top. I've seen many things in my life. I've heard many stories, things that just don't make sense. Like I said, I know what I seen when I was younger there in Nellis, and I know what the fuck I seen in Preston. Can't no one take those memories from me. Can't no one erase that shit. Orale, Men in Black. Fuck you, Will. You can't get me. You know what I mean? You're going to put nothing in my eyes and change my memory. I know what I seen. You know what I mean? But at the same time, who's going to believe the shit? Who's going to believe some little kid that's been incarcerated, man, that, you know what I mean? And you're not going to tell the adults because at this time it's like talking to the administration. Man, we ain't got nothing to say to these motherfuckers. What are you going to do? Run? I seen a ghost, man. He's going to say, who cares? You know what I mean? Just he ain't fucking with you. Don't fuck with him. Y'all want to see a dead body? You know what I mean? That type shit. Um. So when it's all said and done, like I said, you couldn't pay me enough to go to Preston Castle. Um. The stories were numerous, man. A lot of people that did time there have seen funny things. We've seen lights go on in the castle, and I heard that it was just fucking placas up there exploring or the construction workers doing whatever they did. But let's get 2 in the morning. I can't call it like an alcoholic. I don't know what the fuck they were doing, right? But they were up there, sas. You know what I mean? I don't know. But let me tell you another quick story. It doesn't relate to Preston, but it's just something I would tell you. So for anyone that don't know, it's just as a preview, man, of what's going to come up next week. In these murder mysteries and ghost stories with the gun. Niles Canyon. Niles Canyon and the lady in white, the lady in the white dress, right? La Llorona is one thing, but the lady in the white dress is another. So for those of you that have not up on what the lady in the white dress, I'm going to tell you a story about my tío. I'm going to tell you about a story about my tío that tripped me out to this day. To this day, it trips me out because he has too much proof to prove that it's real, and that he has more proof to prove that it's real than it isn't. I'll guarantee you that. And a lot of people from the Bay Area, a lot of people from that area, have seen the lady in the white dress on Niles Canyon, Pacheco Pass, Niles Canyon. It's always in these canyons, these mountain areas, these roads, these windy roads where people see her. And yeah, I'm going to tell you the story next time. But anyways, I just wanted to drop this one for you guys. Something different. If you don't like it, gente, let me know. But I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by the paranormal. I'm intrigued by what's out there. I'm intrigued by murder mysteries, Things that happen that can't be explained all the time, or things that simply could be explained but no one knows the whole story. Anyways, maybe we'll get down to the bottom of it. Maybe somebody will hear this story and be like, hey, I know about that. And we could all tap in. But until then, man, I hope that you guys move fast with a purpose. Hope you get everything that you want coming to you. Hey, and in that fashion, it's all a raza thing. It's about uniting people at the end. It's about putting our stories out there to be heard. The gun. Bang, fucking bang, bang.